Isn't it interesting? The ideas, the theories, the main concept I want you to see here is that these work together. Different ideas that I've been presenting to you over time all work together towards one general overall concept, which is that leaders and followers to work together need to be able to understand each other well. They have to be able to judge what kind of leader am I dealing with, what kind of follower am I dealing with, what style of leadership do I need to use, what style of followership do I need to use, would be appropriate for this situation. There are situations where it's appropriate to be a conformist. There are situations where it's appropriate to be alienated, where you go, I fundamentally disagree with what's going on here. I understand the need to reach that vision, but I don't think this is the right way to do it. I don't like how we're doing this. What? I think a lot of us have been in that situation. Sometimes that situation is the scariest situation to be in. Because what are you essentially doing? You are alienating yourself from the group and from leadership. You're singling yourself. You're not being singled out. You're actively putting yourself in a situation where you're challenging yourself and going, okay, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone here, and I'm gonna call it. I'm going to say this is bad. I don't like it. It's wrong. Not the right way to do this. Got to talk about it. Let's go. Do you see it? Do you see how these all work together? Do you see how these work with path goal leadership? How path goal leadership would have to look at this and go, wait a second, I've got someone who has been here and is suddenly here. What's going on? Activist, someone who's an activist, exemplary leader, like always there, always doing, and suddenly they're more conformist. You go, well, what happened?
You need to find the force and eliminate it.
You have to... Right? You have to choose, you have to figure, well, you also have to figure out whether it's worthwhile for you as a leader to do that. But the first question you ask is, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Is everything okay at home? Is everything okay at work? What is it? Is it that the environment is causing, is it something outside of our little environment? Is it something outside? Is it something about the challenge? Has it gotten boring? Have your skills developed? Have I misunderstood your level of development? It's possible, right? So looking at how these things work together is a huge part of leadership and followership. It's a huge part of strategy and strategic effect. Remember, strategic effect, when you talk about strategic effect, you're talking about the tactics. You're not talking about what happens up here. You're talking about how all these little things put together make that happen, right? And the process that you go through in order to do that. Well, that has command and control as part of it, right? Mission control versus command and control. How much command and control do I need to have as the leader versus how much mission control? Sometimes the follower simply needs you to go, you know what? You do it. Your developmental level is high enough. You do it. I believe you can live here. I'm just not letting you. Go for it. Parents sometimes do this to their kids and stunt them a little bit. I know I've done it, right? Where your kid is egging to get up to here because they think that they're really capable of doing something and you are not prepared for them to do it. And you want them to just be conformist. You want them to just continue being what you want them to be, and they are ready to jump up a level and start actively participating on doing something on their own. They have their own idea about how to get something done. And you go, oh, I'm not prepared for you to do that. Okay? So I want you to see how these, and this is so true for strategy, because these two concepts, the followership and leadership aspects that we're talking about now, of environment and path goal leadership and situational development and situational leadership and how they all work together is what will effectively impact or negatively impact strategic effect for the group. So see how these all work together. Right? We need XYZ resources. We can't have XYZ resources. Well, then I'm going to move over to there. We want to change the value system by which we do things. We think that this is really important. Exxon just said that they will not put any flags that are representative of groups, political grouping flags, on their building. Any of their buildings. The Exxon group. No LGBTQ flags, no pride flags, no Black Lives Matter flags. You may not put them on the building. And a whole bunch of people went from here to here. And a whole bunch of people went from here to here. And there were a whole bunch of people who went from these to there. One decision. A decision by leadership, not management. Leadership. Vision. This is who we are. This is what we want to represent. This is how we want the world to be. This is how we want to present ourselves to the world. Impacts their strategic capacity to get things done. Because now there's internal fighting. Now there's internal argument about what's right and what's good and how we should behave and how we should present ourselves as a company.